Hello and welcome to the channel, everybody. It's good to be here. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having a happy and cheerful holiday season. The developers at Terracards certainly are, because they just dropped a new update today, version 1.2.6. So we're going to get into some of the new content. As you can see, the snow themed aisles here, really cool looking. There's a bunch of new cards to the game. There's some new tooltip stuff going on. There's a bunch to kind of cover, and I just wanted to do a video to kind of cover some of the updates, cover some of the new features, check out some of the new cards, and then we'll play 15-20 minutes or so with a focus and emphasis on some of the new features, right? We will prioritize the new cards over some of the same old stuff. So that's kind of the goal of the video today. We're not going to do some game-breaking, combo field grapes run or anything like that. If that's what you're looking for as far as Terracards go, I've got plenty of other videos on my channel. Just go check that out. There's many ways to break the game. I've shown many ways to break the game on the channel. Check out one of those other videos. The purpose of this, like I said, is to just preview a little bit of the new content and support this cool game. We want this game to go to the moon, as well as our island colonies, of course. That being said, if you are new here, please like and subscribe, especially if you're enjoying the content. I'm a new channel, it really helps me out, and I really appreciate your viewership. So, let's get into it here. So as you can see, we do have the new snow islands, right? Those are cool looking. First thing you probably noticed is the new soundtrack, right? It's got a nice little groove to it. It's got kind of a Christmassy holidays theme to it. But it bangs for sure. And honestly, the old soundtrack was a little repetitive, not gonna lie, especially for a 45-minute to an hour long playthrough. Getting into some of the new cards though, here we go. Let's start with the plants, so the crops here, right? We do have the candy cane, the sweet cane is what it's called, +5 production to itself and +5 water cost to gingerbread man per adjacent island gingerbread man. It gives you a sweet cane, which is worth 7, and it costs 5 water. So candy canes cost water. Interesting. I suppose it's a crop. I think there's some potential with this. +5 production to itself, right? Interested to see kind of how the gingerbread man goes with that. We'll get into that in the next tab here. And then we have what appears to be a very powerful card, the Christmas tree here. So the Christmas tree will double the value of items made in adjacent islands. It also gives you an apple, costs 4 water. I mean, that seems very strong. Very strong. Imagine an island of these things, right? A full 16 slot island of Christmas trees around like grapes with the field grapes buff or something like that. Definitely game breaking. Could definitely take the Christmas tree to the moon. Maybe we'll get one here today when we're playing through. We'll see. Moving on to the animals. So we do have several new ones here. The first being the crow. So the crow tries to destroy one adjacent island wheat per turn. Looks like it's specifically wheat, no other crop. And when it does that, it gives +10 production to adjacent island crops per 4 tries. So that one's a little convoluted, but the crow will try to pluck a wheat from an adjacent island each turn. And every 4 times it tries, at least, whether it's successful or not, it will give +10 production to adjacent island crops. So I envision this working well with wheat expansion, right? So you get an island with wheat expansion. There's a structure called a scarecrow that was also added that we'll get into in just a bit here. So you have a scarecrow, wheat expansion, and you have a medium fence with home sweet home, of course, just filled with crows. And then the surrounding islands with a very expensive and lucrative crop like maybe corn or something like that. I mean, this could go nuclear for sure. I definitely see the potential in the crow. You just have to keep your wheat up. We have the penguin here. So the penguin does 4 times production per empty adjacent space or lake. So it's kind of like the fisherman's hut. +5 production to adjacent island crabs if they are in a lake. So crabs can go in lakes now. I'm guessing is what this means. I don't know if they've implemented that yet. We'll have to take a look. They occupy 2 slots. They eat fish and they give fish. Definitely, I mean, it's good to see a little more diversity with the aquatic animals that you get. I did a crab run not too long ago, right? And basically what we had was small crab and king crab, right? It's good to add another animal to the mix. So let's just peek at the lake here. Yeah, look, so the lake has been updated to hold 16 slots. So I don't imagine it can hold like cows or anything like that, but the lake can hold aquatic creatures. That's very cool. I think it's a sensible change. It's a sensible upgrade to the game, and it adds more flexibility for the lake, right? Usually you grab the lake just to offset the water cost, but now you can actually use it to hold aquatic species, I would guess. So maybe we can play around with that too. Nice new graphic as well. We have the elf. So the elf turns adjacent island trees into Christmas trees. So that must be how you get the Christmas tree right there. But it turns adjacent island trees into Christmas trees. That's crazy. +1 production per adjacent island Christmas tree. That's crazy. So if you have an island of, like, let's say you surround a fence with apple trees or cocoa trees or whatever, and then you just drop an elf in there, you're going to get, boom, Christmas trees. And if you build production around those islands, I could see this just going absolutely nuclear. I'm going to have to screw around with this in a future video for sure, where it's focused on the elf and the Christmas tree. I see great potential here. And interestingly enough, the elf eats apples, so it adds more of a stress for the apple tree and also the Christmas tree because it gives you apples. And then the elf gives one gift, and the gift is worth $10. So that's a really cool new card. I think it's got a lot of potential to just bust up the game, of course. We'll see, maybe we can play around with them. We have the turkey here, so it doubles its production per adjacent island Christmas tree. So you see how all this stuff kind of works together, right? And then after 4 turns, it dies, giving 1 turkey. And then the turkey sells for 100. That's actually a pretty lucrative commodity if you can keep these turkeys flowing. I'm sure there's a way to, get turkeys. We'll find out. At least get a large quantity of turkeys versus having to draw cards of them. Occupies 3 slots. It eats corn and it gives 7 eggs. So that's like your giant chicken, essentially. I would call it a better giant chicken because it works with the Christmas tree. So it doubles its production per adjacent island Christmas tree. So if you have an island of 16 Christmas trees, you're getting you're getting an insane amount of eggs just out of 1 turkey alone. Imagine having a medium fence with Home Sweet Home, packed to the brim with turkeys. That's where it's at right there, folks. We have Santa Claus, not to be confused with the big guy, but Santa Claus. Turns all sheeps in a 3-island range into a gingerbread man. Interesting. And all sugarcane on the farm turns into sweet cane. Okay. Wolves now eat the gingerbread man instead of sheeps. Okay, so this gets a little complicated here. It's hard for me to visualize exactly like a build around this, but definitely interesting. I like the sprite, the wolf with the little hat on. It's always cool, like there is like a sheep build that goes on with just your regular wolves. It's cool to add a new element to that. And also a gingerbread man. This might be the only way to create a gingerbread man. I'm not certain of that. We have Jingle Clucks. So Jingle Clucks gives +8 production to apple tree and grapes in the whole farm for every adjacent elf. So there you go. There's another combo with your elves. So you go elf, apple tree, Christmas tree. Start your build there. And it also turns chickens in a 3-island range into turkeys. Okay. So that's a way to really get a ton of turkeys. Chickens. You get a bird nest down, you can get basically 5 chicken cards every single turn. So you just create like this turkey farm. I could see that happening. I could see like an elf, turkey, Christmas tree, Jingle Clucks kind of build with apples. Yeah, definitely the gears are spinning. And then look right here, it does give you 1 elf egg, and the elf egg, as expected, gives you an elf when hatched in the bird nest. Interesting. So we're looking at kind of a new build with just the bird nest and the chickens all together. Really interesting. Next up we have Santa's reindeer. And there can only be 9 Santa's reindeer, but look at this great sprite here. I saw on the Discord server the developer was particularly proud of this one, and I agree, this is a mighty looking sprite. Reminds me of like a Stantler or something from Pokemon, right? Looks good though. Can only be 9 Santa's reindeer plus 5 production to all apple trees per gift made on the farm. So this is really going in on apple trees. And I like that because if you remember in the last update, right, the apple tree actually got a lot of additional production items added to it, right? So we're going in more even with the apples. And I don't know about you, but when I'm playing through, unless I'm going like heavy cow, I don't really seem to consider the apple tree too often as a viable choice, right? I mean, sometimes, but not really. I tend to skip over it for other items. Maybe this is more of an incentive to use the apple tree more. Definitely. You probably draw Santa's reindeer, I would guess. It's probably about as rare as like an Easter bunny, I would guess, as well. And you can only have 9 of them. Then we have the gingerbread man. If it eats another gingerbread man is born on the same island. Interesting, so it duplicates itself. And look at this sprite here. Reminds me of like Pocky and Rocky or something. I don't know if you've all played that game. Good looking sprite though, I like that. Occupies 1 slot, it costs a lot of water, it eats a sweet cane, and it gives you a gingerbread, which sells for an insane amount. Wow, 252 for a gingerbread. That's as much as a chocolate bar. Just for getting a gingerbread man that, you know, if it eats a sweet cane, it's going to duplicate itself. So you could have, like this could get out of control too. It really could. It could get out of control in a hurry. Especially if you have some buffs that's for animals, assuming that this is treated just like an animal, which I don't know why it wouldn't be. But where, you know, you're getting double, quadruple production, right? You're getting extra production per turn. Can they start stacking gingerbread and start filling up medium fences with Home Sweet Home, of course, with a bunch of gingerbread men? Super interesting. I like it. Fits the holiday theme. You gotta like it. For new structures, it looks like there is just one. I mean, obviously, we already went over the difference with the lake now. I don't know if there's differences with any others. To be honest, I didn't read the update notes. I just kind of popped in here once I saw that there was an update, and a significant update at that. And we do have the Scarecrow, though. So the Scarecrow obviously works with the Crow. And it reduces the Crow's chance to a 50% chance to prevent the destruction of crops on the same island. So you put this on the same island as your wheat, so the Crow doesn't, you know, pluck it away. You get plus 5 production to crops on the same island as well, which is really good. I mean, that's really good. Plus 5 production to all crops on the same island. It's not a water tank, but it also, if you put 4 of them in place, it's plus 20. That's what the water tank does. So, I mean, it's kind of equal to the water tank in a sense. Except for it doesn't take up 4 slots, so I'd say it's real good. Assuming that's a structure that you just draw like you would any other structure. And then lastly, for our processed goods, we'll call them. Let's scroll down to the bottom here. So we do have the turkey. We already went over that. Doesn't process any further, but does sell good. The gift, same thing. Sells for a little less. Gingerbread is like a new hot commodity here, like a crazy expensive and lucrative commodity. You gotta love that. We have the elf egg, we already went over that. We have the candied fruit. So here's another item that is made with the apple. So you got refined sugar and apple in the oven, you get the candied fruit. Sells pretty good at 78, and it's also processed further with dough, right, which is fairly easy to make panettone dough. And then furthermore, the panettone dough, which is right here, goes into an oven to make a panettone for 330 per unit. Super cool. Super cool. I love that they're adding more things to the oven. The oven's a big structure, right? It's hard to commit to, but maybe this will help you kind of commit to it a little more. And then we have the Choco Tone. Actually, let's start here. The Choco Tone dough, so that's a chocolate bar, and again, dough. So it puts more emphasis and value on dough and more flexibility on dough, right? And then you put that in the oven and you get the Choco Tone for 852 per unit. That's massive. So if we think about, let's think about an Easter Bunny build here quick, right? Where you're getting 1,000,000 chocolate bars per turn. Well, what if you got a dough setup right next to it with a simple crusher, and you are just churning out dough because you have a million flour, which is quite possible, right? You just need the sugar cane to support it, but you're churning out a million flour, right? And you're also getting a million chocolate bars from the Easter Bunny. You're gonna get a crap ton of this chocotone dough. Like, you could make this relatively easily with the Easter Bunny. Throw that in the oven and boom, you have yourself an $852 a unit, just beast, just empire, I guess you could say, a chocotone empire, if you will. Right there before you. You could definitely take that one to the moon. I could see that. And then we have the sweet cane. Obviously, with the holiday season, the candy cane makes a lot of sense. You know, I really do enjoy the animal sprites, I must say. Especially like Santa's reindeer here. That's a good looking sprite. Excited about the Christmas tree. But that kind of covers the new additions, the new content added to the game. There's a few other like tooltip things I'll get into here as I start playing, but let's just kind of play for a little bit. Let's see if we can put an emphasis on drawing some of the new cards and just playing around with them. Obviously, a future video to come that is kind of structured around an actual build with some of these new cards, but just wanted to showcase some of the new updates. And one of the most obvious things you see here is you have a little tooltip there, so +2 production, -1 water, right? You don't have to think about it. And obviously it'll change a little bit depending on where you're placing it, what essence rewards are in place, what other buffs are in place, etc., etc. So definitely cool. Good job to the developers here. You gotta appreciate a developer team that takes pride in their game and, you know, makes an effort to update it and keep it updating, right? I don't know how many times you folks have been into a game and it just kind of fades away. Doesn't seem like Terracards is gonna fall into that category at all. So let's just play around for a little bit. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. Let's see if maybe we can discover the scratchings of a power combo. We'll see. Need to gain some money right now. And you should know me by now. I love the sunflower opening. It's just the way to go, if you ask me. It's hard to visualize myself beginning in any other way, although that might be a challenge video in itself. Just, I banned myself from using the sunflower. What am I going to do, right? So let's get a cow on the board. Ah, look at that. The cow's got a little Santa hat on. Very nice touch. You love to see it. Peanuts, beans, chicken. I think chickens do, at least with the rare, forget what that card was even called. The card that turns the chickens into turkeys. You know, one of the greatest transformations of our time, for sure. So we're gonna go ahead and chuck down some blue wheat here. I haven't really seen too many new cards yet, right? So I don't know if it's more like early to mid game kind of stuff, but I guess we'll find out. Here's a water retreat. We'll do that so we can, you know, continue playing for a little longer, right? We don't want to sink our economy at the dawn of a new update, right? Definitely don't want to do that. So here's the water retreat. Y'all know that the water retreat goes really, really well with the blue wheat. And even post-update, still performs strongly. Let's go ahead and grab some apple trees. I did see a lot of combinations with apple trees. So if possible, I'd like to play around with those a little bit. We'll see. So I know apple trees go good with cows, right? They give cows boosted production. The watch out with the apple tree, of course, is always the water cost. Well, we have that solved now. So let's just see. Just gonna go into apples here. Should I go field grapes and just take this thing to the moon? Nah, I'm not gonna do that. But that would be funny. Let's go paste bloom. It makes sense. I'm not looking for a field grapes build in this particular one. We're just playing around. Trying out some new features. Fuel wheat's here. I like fuel wheat as a solution. I do plan on going mill here when it's available. So let's go ahead and grab some fuel wheat. It'll go good with the mill. Why don't we throw a water well right here to boost the production of our apples just a little bit. And our fence is full here. So why don't we go ahead and expand upward as well. Throw down another cow. So we do have our fuel wheat here. I think a sensible place to go with it. Let's just throw it down right here. No need in going into high strategy mode here. We're just kind of playing around. I'd like to see a crow. Give me a crow. Give me a turkey. Give me that crazy I forget what it was called. Give me the animal that turns the chicken into turkeys. I want to see that. Let's take some more watery trees for the sake of our economy, and then let's just explore, see if we can't get one of the new cards here. More sunflowers. I mean, the game's just like, hey, do you want to just play Terracards right now the way you normally do? We'll pass on that for now. We do get a juicer here. I'm more interested in like the mill and the flour and the oven kind of stuff. We get a crusher. Let me take another look at that. Yeah, we're just not there yet for the crusher. So let's grab some popsicles. Might as well. Goes good with our cows. Maybe we can get some scalded milk and butter coming from here. Throw a melter down here. We'll certainly see. Let's check income here real quick. Nothing really too crazy, but definitely enough to keep the lights on. You'd love to see that. Here's the oven. I mean, do we just go oven? Do we secure the oven in our hand right now? That's a possibility. Let's actually grab the apple tree. I want to get a few more of these guys down. It also looks to like there's this outline here. So that must be, it must show you all like crops of the variety that you're placing. I do notice just a little bit of lag when we're transitioning from island to island. You see that? So I don't know what that's all about and if that's part of this new update or not, but definitely something that is noticeable. So I think what I'll do is I'll start another apple tree island over here, and I like the idea of maybe going wheat over here. I know we have wheat over here in place, but I want to see if we can. Okay, here's a crow. Here's a crow. Let's check it out. Tries to destroy one adjacent island wheat per turn, plus 10 production to adjacent island crops. So let's take the crow. And let's just take a look. So if we put the crow right here, it will boost the production of our apple trees here at the cost of basically one fuel wheat. So let's try it out and see what happens. Okay, so the fuel wheat does lower, and then on the fourth turn we're actually going to get a boost there. Let's grab the oven, just secure it in our hands. And the crow's doing a really good job of just taking this down for sure. So we get the raw sugar and the apple. Or sorry, this isn't raw, this is refined sugar. So if we can get a little sugar set up here and an oven here, I like that. Let's just try playing around with that. Obviously need more fuel before anything really happens, but so looking for sugarcane. Could definitely go with some more cows here. We have some medium fences as well. I think that's a decent selection. Also have more corn. Let's get some wheat. Definitely gonna need some wheat. Home sweet home. Yes, don't mind if I do. So let's put down some wheat here. Perhaps we can get a mill to share the same island as our oven over there. And we'll just start a nice little build here using the superior range of the mill. We'll of course see. Really just playing around here, trying some new features out. So with that minor lag I was mentioning, I do notice that it does kind of slow down the hotkeying process. It seems like the placement, right? The rapid placement. So that's something I did notice. Let's go barn here. Why not? Let's just double down. We got the water. We have the penguin here. So the penguin is... Okay, I'll grab the penguin. I'm gonna prioritize the new creatures for sure. We don't really have a great spot to play it yet. I mean, you could put it in the fence here. I kind of want to see what happens when it's in the lake. So maybe we can roll into a lake here. Maybe not, but maybe. Let's just grab more apple trees for the time being. Reroll cost is still excessive, even as of 1.2.6. Let's go ahead and grab a giant sunflower here. We can throw our shiny boy sword right here. So let's see if we can't get a lake. If we're gonna do... Yeah, if we're gonna do penguins... If we're gonna do penguins, then we actually need fish production, right? Because that is their food. So let's see if we can get a lake. Here we go. Got a lake right here. So let's go ahead and throw that down right here. Four times production per empty adjacent space or lake. Okay. So it doesn't really work with the fisherman's hut. The fisherman's hut is essential in... So if we go here and throw down a lake, then they're going to get really boosted production. Nice, they just kind of hang out in the little ice ring there. Plus 512 production. Holy cow, did you see that? Look at these boys. I mean, do we take the... do we take the penguin to the moon? I mean, it's definitely possible, right? With that kind of production, goodness gracious, look at that. We'd love to see that, folks. So let's throw down a centrifuge here. How we doing on our overall resources? Doing okay. Could certainly maybe use... Yeah, let's grab these two watery trees here. Why not? So this is a cool new mechanic. These penguin are very strong so far. At least as far as fish goes. I mean, if there was a way to maybe process fish a little further, turn it into like sushi or something, maybe it would be very game breaking then. But as it currently sits, you know, fish is just a commodity to sell. Doesn't sell very well, but we're making plenty of them to keep the lights on for sure. Another centrifuge. Got a biofuel generator. Check out my field grapes to the moon. Here's a scarecrow. Let's grab this. We do have a crow right here, but if we throw a scarecrow down right here and then go wheat in here, let's see kind of the rates, because I feel like he took that field out pretty quick. And my guess is, since he's not trying to eat any wheat each turn, we're not getting the bonus. More penguins, don't mind if I do. I think I might have, and you can get a lot of them in one lake spot with Home Sweet Home or without. Oh yeah. Rabbit apprentice. Yep. So now I'll get a penguin each turn. Perfect. Medium fence, juicer, don't need that. Well, we do need the juicer for the future sugarcane that we get, so why don't we grab that? Definitely gonna have to go sugarcane here. But we're getting a penguin every single turn, and it's going nuclear. I mean, if fish were a more expensive commodity, right? Like, you would have yourself... Here's some sugarcane. We're getting apple juice now. That wasn't necessarily intended, but that's okay. We're just playing around anyways, folks. Trying out some new features of this great game. Another cool thing about this game is it's got a cool community. Everybody I've interacted with in the Terracards community has just been awesome. So come on and join us if you're curious about Terracards. It's a fun game. It's got a lot of I believe that the future is bright for sure. I mean, think about it. The possibilities are quite endless. In fact, I don't know how the developer keeps his head on straight sometimes. You know, you have like all of these combinations to kind of ideate and then put into play. So what if we hold out here? So here's what I'm thinking. Let's hold out here for, obviously just keep throwing in our penguins here. Is that full? Okay, if that's full, then we're gonna throw another lake right here with more of them. But if we get a transport tube, right? Another thing that I'd like to play around with a little more is the transport tube. But if we get a transport tube on this island here, right? And we prop up some sugarcane behind it, and even to the side of it, we can really ramp up our production of it. And just having that structure on this island too will give us a big boost. More blue wheat. We'll take it. So let's go lake right here. Just a steady 512, man. Getting 20k in fish per turn, but we also get a penguin every single turn. That is the broken thing about it. Definitely cool. I like the feature with the lake. I think it definitely makes it better. Mill. Yeah, we were kind of holding out for a mill, so let's go ahead and grab the mill. I'm starting to really experience a lot of this lag now, if you notice. And it's when I drag it over a tile, otherwise it's fine, right? When I drag it over a tile, we get some definite streakiness, if you will. Yeah, I'm gonna have to actually watch out for that, it seems. So here we go, mill. That's gonna pull in the flour. In fact, let's throw some blue wheat right here, actually. Not necessarily playing to win this one. So our centrifuge is firing up. Just not quite there yet. I mean, interestingly enough, now we're only getting 90 fish. That one's hard to explain. I mean, I know they eat fish, but perhaps there's something I'm not understanding. I don't know. Wouldn't be the first time there was something I just failed to understand about Terracards, that's for sure. But you know, folks, we try, right? We try. At the very least, at the end of the day, you could say that we tried. What do you think of the new soundtrack? You've heard it for about 35 minutes now. It's definitely more subtle, which I think is a good thing. It seems to have a little more variety to it. Let's grab a scarecrow. Seems to have a little more variety to it. Like the loop is a little longer for sure. At least it seems that way. Maybe I'm just used to the original soundtrack. 25,000 fish, that's 128k. So these penguins are... I mean, it's relatively easy too. If you get the right essence reward, it's pretty low leverage investment. And I mean, it's 150k a turn, right? Hard to disagree with that. Getting a lot of hiccups here. Still no, I mean, so we see the crow, we see the penguin, we saw the frozen lake, although that's not a new card. Like, what are we missing out on here? I feel like we're missing out on some stuff, for sure. There's just been stuff that we fundamentally have not seen yet. Here's a transport tube, I was kind of holding out for that one. And this this stickiness, I'm not gonna lie, the stickiness of just dragging cards over the island, sort of, it seems like it's waiting for that tooltip to pop up. The stickiness there is a little, it's a little hard to deal with, I'm not gonna lie. This game, folks, is of course still in early access, so a lot to come in the near future, I'm sure. And like I said, the community's great. Would highly recommend if you're interested. Maybe you've been, you know, maybe the game's on your wish list and you've been just checking out some content here and there on it. And you're not sure if it's for you. Give it a shot if you like. It's a very fun game. Good stuff. Do get a gnome here. Sure, we'll go gnome. Even over the sugarcane, we'll go gnome. Should have probably thrown him right there, actually. That's not great. Like to see the elf. I think the only way to get the elf is by way of chickens, right? Definitely a lot to play around with here. We'll go for a couple more minutes here. Like I said, the main objective of this video is just to showcase some of the new features, new soundtrack, new cards, new little tooltip dealio that needs a little bit of work. It looks like we have some serious potential with the fish here, although it's hard for me to explain why the production quantity is all over the place, right? It seems to vary quite a bit. The way I see it, they're making a flat 512 per penguin. Obviously, they're going to eat some fish, but they shouldn't be eating a variable amount every turn. You know what I'm saying? So I wonder what's going on with the calculation here with the penguin. But that's okay. More penguins, don't mind if I do. We'll fill this thing up, we'll take it to the moon. $23,000 fish that turn. That's a good quantity for sure. Peanuts juicer, gnome. Yep, we'll go gnome here. Denison Wright's weed expansion. Unfortunately, it's too late to try that out, but we'll go weed expansion. Consider this more of a stress test, because you know that the load time does not like the weed expansion. I mean, I love the weed expansion, but the game itself doesn't really like it too much when you got a lot of other things going on. Now we have a peanut gnome. I don't recall drawing a peanut gnome. What is going on? Alright, can anybody explain that one to me? I didn't draw a peanut gnome, so what's going on? Is there like a new feature of the gnome or something? No, I'm not seeing that. Interesting. That's really interesting, actually. I think it's the rabbit apprentice, but I don't know if it's a bug or not. Easter bunny. Yeah, here we go. Let's just go Easter bunny. That could be a bug. I should be getting a gnome card every turn, right? Because I've got 2 gnomes on this island here. But instead it's giving me a peanut gnome. I wonder if that's a potential bug. It certainly could be. And now we have some chocolate production here. If we were to ever get into the bread dough business, we'd be looking at this Chocotone dough stuff right here. Crusher dough, which needs flour and some raw sugar. I mean, basically we just need... Let me see that again here quick. Basically we just need the fermenter, and then we're making this. So let's get a crusher and a fermenter if we can. Here's a crusher right here. Perfect. Alright, crusher can go... So this will produce chocolate, right? Yep. So let's throw the crusher right there. And now we just kindly need the fermenter, please, game, if you would, please. Maybe we get it, you know, this time around. Maybe we aggressively roll into it just to check it out. There's a melter. Don't need that necessarily. Actually, I think we do need this. Yeah, this is what you need to make your purified sugar cane. So we're not even making raw sugar yet, okay. The game keeps me in check. Keeps me from getting ahead of myself, of course. So here we go, now we're making some raw sugar. For whatever reason, it's getting pulled back into the transport tube. Can't explain that one. Here's our fermenter. Perfect. Alright, let's make some Chocotone. And let's see how much this breaks the game. Let's see if it's viable, right? 289k is our payout there. Instead, we're getting bread. So let's think about this here for a second. So we have the chocolate bar, right? The chocolate bar with the dough. No, that's cookie dough. We have the chocolate bar, right? Chocolate bar is going to the crusher with the regular dough. Right? The regular dough is being created here. Chocolate bar is being created here. It should all go into the crusher. Am I right? But instead we're getting just straight chocolate to sell, which is fine, right? Liquid butter too, nice. Straight chocolate just to sell. Yeah. I think that's another issue that the game has to resolve at some point. I definitely know that there are things that I'm not considering, not thinking about, not very proficient at when it comes to, you know, thinking big about all this stuff for sure, and kind of what's happening with each production chain and so on and so forth. But I have noticed that it seems like the priority of the product and what building uses what, right? For this particular one, they are taking our dough and it's going to the oven immediately, completely disregarding the fact that we have the chocolate bar coming in to the crusher with the dough, right? And then that should be going to the oven, right? So that's definitely an opportunity. But But anyways, folks, I just wanted to showcase the new update. Wanted to play around a bit. I wanted to try some of the new features. I mean, overall, the aesthetic of the update looks great. I love the, holiday themed cows. I love, all the new cards that were developed for this. I think there's some definite game-breaking combos. Christmas tree is definitely one of them. The Jingo Clucks, really looking forward to hopefully using the Jingo Clucks in the future. I think Gingerbread Man's interesting, especially with the pricey gingerbread that it creates for you. Santa's reindeer, obviously that's amazing too. Lots of new potential here, folks. And thanks for allowing me to showcase it to you. Thanks for checking out the video. With that being said though, folks, I do appreciate your viewership. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you dig the content. If you want to see some, real high effort Terracards stuff, I've got plenty more videos. Check it out, they're right on the channel. Happy holidays, everybody, and we will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.